Okay friends, it's time to get started on our job. One of the first things you want to do is safely raise and support the front of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. After that, remove all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts and then the wheel. Now with the wheel out of the way, you have a nice clear view of the outer tie rod end. That's this area right here. Looking at the far end, or the inboard end of the outer tie rod end, you can see the jam nut. We're going to break this free using a 24mm wrench, turning it clockwise. There we are. Once it's broken free, let's continue on down to this area and remove our locking cotter pin. Remove that, set it aside. Once it's out of there, go ahead and remove your 16mm nut. Now with the nut off of there, you're going to want to go ahead and break this free from the knuckle. Now for us, it's already broken free. But if it isn't for you, just go ahead and take a hammer and bonk right along the knuckle on this area, and then it should want to pop free. Once you have it broken free, we're going to turn this counterclockwise to unscrew it from the inner tie rod end. As we're doing this, keep count. When we go to reinstall the new tie rod, you want to have the same count going on. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove our jam nut from the area. To do that, you're going to want to hold the inner tie rod end with something. You can either use a wrench or some locking pliers, and then use a 24mm socket to remove the nut. Once you have that off of there, the next thing you want to do is inspect the threads, then apply a thin amount of copper never seize. Once you've done all that, go ahead and take your brand new jam nut. We're going to put it on here. Now it's time to start installing our brand new outer tie rod end. Let's take this tie rod end, we're going to put it on here and turn it in the exact amount of threads that it took to remove the original. All right, now that we should be able to slide this down in here. The next thing we're going to do is take our spacer, slide that right up in here, install your castle nut. Bottom it out and torque it to 32 foot-pounds. The next thing that you're going to want to do is pay attention to the slot of the nut in comparison to the hole in the stud. They need to line up. If for some reason it isn't, continue tightening the nut until the very next slot does. Once it does, go ahead and put in your locking cotter pin. Go ahead and bend that over. Now let's make our way to the jam nut. We'll go ahead and tighten this. Once it's bottomed out against the outer tie rod end, just make sure it's tight. Typically the torque for this is going to be 40 foot-pounds, but as you can tell, it's a little bit difficult to get a torque wrench on it. Now we can start on all of the lug nuts. We'll bottom them out, get the wheel back on the ground, and torque each of them to 80 foot-pounds. Okay friend, we got the car back together. What's left to do now? Now typically you're going to want to take it for a road test, listen for noises, and make your way down to your local alignment shop. Thanks for watching.